Hello and welcome back. I did want to make this video today about uh, why I used to ghost people that I love and how I learned to meet them where they are. So, I hate arguing, and instead of arguing, I used to just ghost people, family, friends, whoever. So I hated arguing. And so instead of arguing, I used to just clam up and let people argue with themselves. I just would go mute and let them say whatever they want to say. Or I would just stop talking to that person, stop answering their calls. No real explanation for real ghost. But as I got older, I realized that wasn't a really healthy way to resolve things. And I just always felt like the energy made me too angry or I was too frazzled to really have proper verbal communication. So I had to work on myself. I had to do the work to learn communication skills. I had terrible emotional regulation. And I think because when I was younger, I was raised by a West Indian and British mother. So there was no talk back in our house. There was no two-way communication. There was her communication, me listening, me doing it. But I had a mind of my own, so it didn't always work out. I wouldn't argue, but I would do things my way, and that would cause a lot of friction from a really strict parent. So I just had to learn how to communicate better. That kind of communication, family dynamic left me with the inability to communicate in a way that was appropriate to have a healthy argument. And I didn't learn those skills young. I had to develop them as I got older. And whenever I got caught up in like a pinch with, let's say, friends or other family or significant other, I would revert back to the behaviors that I had as a young person. So I had to start doing some work on myself. And thank God for 8 years of therapy as an adult. It helped me learn to better communicate, especially in my second marriage and the latter part of raising my kids. I think that it was really crucial that I learned to not run away because these were people that I love. And yeah. Also, during that time where I was kind of, when I was younger, like from after 18 until I was like 40, I would barely talk to my family because there was so much built up resentment and miscommunication. And I just didn't feel like I was supported, I was protected. I felt like I was kind of ignored and sacrificed. I don't want to go deeper than that. So I took full responsibility for my behavior because I truly believe that if you're not what you've been, you are what you decide to be at any given time in your life. And I decided I wanted to be a person that could love and forgive and be forgiven. And so I had to learn how to forgive. I had to learn how to forgive myself and love myself and give people grace, especially the people that I love. And I had to teach my kids how to be able to do that too. So it was important that that I lead by example in that way. So now I allow people to be themselves because really I want to be allowed to be myself as well. I try to meet them where they are in the now. and not do a whole lot of remember when and I realized that I wanted to be the change that I realized that I would have to be the change that I wanted to see in my family. I wanted to lead by example, not by the consequences of walking away, which sometimes those consequences are really missing people that you really love and you just are letting your ego talk you out of mending that relationship instead of finding a way to meet that person, meet yourself in the right now. And I'm really proud of the younger people in my family. I said this before, I'm the oldest of 12 grandchildren and I don't have any siblings, but I have uncles and aunts and we're more like siblings. And I have a really good relationship with all of them. I don't think they have the greatest relationships with each other, but I am really proud of the relationship that my cousins and I have with each other. And I think that that goes a long way in how they've watched me grow, walk away from the family, and come back into the family, and how I reintegrated myself back into my family was not with any anger or resentment. I go to family functions, I show up and I help out people, and vice versa. And I am really proud of that. So they saw like, oh, she walked away from for a long time, but she came back because she loves us and she came back because we're worth it. And I have a really good time with them. I really do. Every time I come home from being with them, I just always am saying how much I love them, how much I love being with my family. And it's an awesome feeling because it wasn't always like that. I had to come back different. And I believe some of the older people in our family still struggle, but the younger people are all aware of what those rifts were caused by, and we just don't want any part of them. So we've made conscious decisions to work things out with each other. If we have an issue with each other, we work them out together. And it makes for a much healthier relationship. And I also wanted to say that I also sometimes decline invites. I don't go. If I'm not feeling it, if people aren't staying in the realms of my boundaries, then I will just kind of step back a little bit and give them space and give myself space to either figure out a way to communicate what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, and see how it's received. And even if it's not received in the way that I would like it to be received, I allow it to be what it is. And I don't push it to try to make it something else or push my point to try to make my point. I just back off and make sure that I stay peaceful. I can't control anybody else. Okay, I learned that it's okay for me to say no, and that if someone doesn't like that I've said no, that that's okay too. That is not really my burden to bear, or my mind needs to ruminate in that, and or I need to fix it, or I need to just give in and say yes. I just allow them to be upset with me, and if they need further explanation, I feel like that is up for them to come and have a discussions. It took me years to not feel guilty about saying no and to protect myself or seek peace out for myself. As you get older, something happens for sure, but also like enough is enough, right? At some point, you just gotta choose yourself. You have to choose your peace and you have to live with the consequences of that. And I promise it gets better when you choose yourself, and people will eventually either really respect you or they'll fall away. And if it's not from me, let it fall away. I am so much better with so many less people in my life to please just to please. Yeah, is that's where I live. I don't want to fight about it. I don't want to run from it because I don't want to feel like a coward when I'm dealing with my situations. So instead of ghosting people, now I give us space. I give us space to decide what we want more. Do we want love and peace and forgiveness, or do we want problems? Sometimes you just need time to formulate a different thought. And I think that requires space and time. I think sometimes we need space for healthy conversations, but also we need space to formulate. Sometimes we also need space to formulate a healthy bond, and sometimes we need to get over ourselves. I don't know if I said that before, but we need to remove our ego. And we need to remove our ego and return to love. And a lot of people aren't healthy enough mentally to get there. And that's a part of the allowing. That's a part of the stepping away, and making sure that you are protecting your peace and you are in alignment with what you want for yourself. Well, you made it this far. I did too. Yay! I'm doing my nails, but I'm not done. I just wanted to make sure I came and finished this video. But if any of this resonated with you, please like, comment, subscribe, share if you care. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Is evolved and resilient. Find your healing in the feeling. Breathe it in and let it go. This is the journey to your freedom. Time to slow.